Hey, welcome back to part 2. So where you left off, we were on question 6. We found the perimeters of the horse barn and the tiger den. We added that together and we got 520 feet. Okay, next, the total perimeter of a rectangular basketball court is 260 feet. The length of the basketball court is 80 feet. What is the width of the basketball court? So, I will show you how to do this one. So there's two ways that you can do this. Let me write down my numbers real quick. So we have total perimeter is 260. And we know that we have one of the side lengths is 80. Okay. So let me make this big screen. Okay. So we know our total we need to get to is 260. Now we need to find these other sides. So we can do that two different ways. First way is we subtract. So we know that the other side is going to be 80, and these both together will be 160. So we can do minus 160, 0, 0, 1. We know that our leftover is going to be 100. Now we just have to split that between two sides. So what is half of 100? 50. We know this side is 50, and this side is 50. So that's the first way you can do that. Here is the second way. So I'm going to switch colors so you guys can tell that it's a different way. Okay, so we start off with our 260 again. So for this one, we're going to be only looking at half of it. So I'm going to do 260 divided by 2. So I'm just going to split it in half. So 130. So I know this side and this side, when added together, need to equal 130. So the way I can do that, so basically this is my equation. Is 80 plus question mark equals 130. So we are going to be doing this equation a little bit backwards, meaning instead of addition, we're going to do subtraction. We do 130 minus 80. So 3 subtract 8, can't do that, but I can do 13 subtract 8. Now because there's no, this would just be 0, and there's no number underneath here, I'm not going to do the whole crossing out thing because it's just 13 minus 8. But that'll give us, look at that, 50. So whichever one of these ways works best for you. If you want to add up the 80s and subtract that and then divide it by 2, you can do that. Or if you want to start and just look at half of the square at a time, you can take half of the total and then find the missing piece by subtraction. Both of these ways are perfectly good ways to solve it. It's just whatever works best for your brain. So let's type that into our box. So hey, look, and we know it's correct because it's one of our options. That's a good life advice. If it's not one of your options, you probably did it wrong. Okay, which rectangles have a perimeter of 24 centimeters? Select 3 correct answers. So they're giving us a hint. We're going to have 3. Okay, so this was just like that question earlier where we had to figure out which one had an area of 26. So for this one, you can do it one of two ways that we've already done before. You can add up all of the sides for every single one. And if you scroll down, don't forget there's an E down here to see which one gets 24. Or what we can do, which I recommend for time, is I'm just going to look at the two sides. So what I have to do first is 24 divided by 2. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. So I know if I add up my two sides, they must equal 12. So let's see. 2 plus 10. Is that 12? Yep. Click it. 6 plus 4. Is that 12? Nope, that's only 10. 6 plus 6, is that 12? Yep, let's click it. Hey, 8 plus 4, is that 12? Yes, it is. So I'm going to click it. And just to make sure, let's look down here. 12 plus 12 is way more than 12, so E does not work. And we scrolled all the way down, so these are our options. We have found 3 correct answers. We're all done with number 8. Okay, next one. Some students use square unit tiles to make rectangles with a perimeter of 22 units. The line plot shows areas of the rectangles they made. So we got a line plot here. We see that the area measurements, so it's talking about these numbers, are in square units, and each X represents one rectangle. Use the line plot to answer the questions. How many rectangles were made with an area of 18 squares? Okay, so with an area of 18. So that means we are only looking at 18, which means our answer is 3. Now for this one, wording is important. If they had said with at least 18 squares, we would have to count all of these as well. But they just want one with an area of 18 squares, so only 18. Yep, so we had only 18. Okay, B, how many rectangles were made with an area greater than 24? So am I looking at 24? Nope, I'm looking at everything above 24. So I'm looking at this 28 and 30. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. And that's what we get. Okay, last one. Use words or pictures to explain how the students could make rectangles with the same perimeter but different areas. Use paper or enter your answer in the box. Okay, so for this, I'm going to give you a few ways to do this. You can you can type up something. You can look at ways to draw it. Which does not look like you can answer any shapes. Or if this is too difficult and you really want to draw a picture, what you can do is you can draw a picture on a piece of paper, and I will put a spot on Seesaw where you can submit your picture, and I can count it on there too. And I will be going back and looking at this question for every single one who does the answer tomorrow. But I will show you on paper for right now. So to explain how they can make rectangles with the same perimeter but different areas. Okay, so let's make some examples. Okay, so I'm going to draw 2 different rectangles here. I'm going to draw kind of a normal one. I'm going to make another one kind of long and skinny. Okay, so this first one, let's make this 4 by 10. So I know when these 2 sides add up together, it's going to be 14. If I add up all of it, my perimeter is going to be 28. Because 14 plus 14 is 28. So for this one, to make the perimeter the same, I need to have 2 sides that equal 14. So let's make this a smaller number. Let's make this 2. And then down here, we need to be 14. So 2 plus what equals 14? You said 12. Correct. Okay, so again, 12 plus 2, 14. 14 plus 14 equals a perimeter of 28. Let's put a P here so we remember. Now, these 2 rectangles are going to have different areas. I will prove it to you. What's 4 times 10? 40. And what's 12 times 2? 24. Do you see how different those are? Same perimeter, different area. So you can do something like a picture and you can submit it onto Seesaw. Or you can talk about different side lengths, how they can all add up to the same, but when you multiply them together, they will give you different numbers. Now there are many different rectangles that this would work for, but this is the basic concept. They need to add all up to the same, but when they multiply, they'll be different. Okay, here we go. So we're done with that one. Okay, last question. Some students created rectangles with different number of unit square tiles. The table shows the areas and the perimeters of the rectangles they created. Use the line plot below to record the perimeters of the students' rectangles. So here's the thing. We need the perimeters. Do we need to look at the area at all? Nope. We're just looking at the perimeters. So for this one, I'm going to do each person. So Amir, his perimeter was 14. I'm going to go down here, put a little X above 14. Next person, Janet, was 30. Next at the 30. Next person, Sean, was 14. Another one at the 14. And then Beto was 24. Farah was 22. We've done Amir, Janet, Sean, Beto, Farah. So now we're on Kai. He has 30. Elena has 28. Leah has 16. Nate has 24. Tamika has 22. Mila has 18. And Harry has 26. So I have now marked each person, and I've only recorded their perimeter. I haven't even looked at the area. I don't need this information, not for this chart. So each X represents one rectangle. We got it all. And look at that, we are done. So once you're done, you can submit. And we will not get 100% because I did not do the typing in thing, but we have answered all of the questions, you can tell, because none of them have this red little exclamation point. So remember, blue means teacher needs to correct, which means you will not get a score for this one until I go back and manually grade it. So automatically, I cannot get points for that one. So the highest you can score is 9 out of 10 when you submit your thing. You can also continue and look at the ones that you got wrong and look at the answers for those when you are done. Well, that is all for the review. Tomorrow we will take the assessment, so take as much time as you need to review, and good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.